Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Are we good here? I think we are. Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to hashtag TNT JoeFi Tech News that Jerome Ortega finds interesting. I am your host, Jerome Ortega. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode number something of TNT JoeFi because I lost count. This is day number something in quarantine because it's been forever. How's it going, guys? Good afternoon. I just made it in the nick of time. I have been on time at 2 p.m. Central daily for like the last, I think, 2.5 weeks now. And I just barely made it. So I'm glad that I'm still on that streak of making it on time. Being punctual, being punctual, I think right now is of importance to me. But sorry, I'm trying to gather myself. So today I actually have to finish right at 3:00 on the dot because I have a ton of work to do today. This is something I'm going to start trying to switch up. I need to prioritize what's important to me, and I need to start pushing back on some of the other stuff and trying to prioritize my work. So this stream, my fasting channel, and just a lot of my own personal projects, I know that I'm going to start keeping up top, especially because I have this Huawei P40 Pro Plus and I want to make camera comparisons. And right after the show today, I have to do some other work. But right after that, I am going to start shooting to do camera comparisons with that. And I want to get into my first day with the Huawei P40 Pro Plus. I have a few choice opinions about it already, but I'll get into that in a second. But let me go ahead and say hi to everybody today. Let me make sure I have my screens ready. I think so. All right, let me get into chat here. Levin was first in here. What's up, fam? What's going on? Levin, nice to have you. Welcome to the stream. Gilio Jax is in here as well. What's going on? Not much, man. If I don't know if you were here yesterday, I did get my P40 Pro Plus. It's an amazing phone so far, craftsmanship wise and quality and build quality. I mean, it's really nice. Feels really good in the hands, but it is missing a lot of stuff. It's missing a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about that today. I want to take some time talking about that. But Gilio Jax, thank you. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you having you here. Sean is in here as well. Sean, what's going on, man? Welcome. Good afternoon. How's it going? Hopefully you're doing well. Nice to see you. Max Tech Studios is in here as well. Woo woo. Everyone just made it. Max Tech is asking what my channel. It's called Finally Fasting. You can go to youtube.com/Finally Fasting if you want to see me do push-ups and skip rope poorly, and then talk about how long I don't eat for. Feel free to check it out. Max Tech Studios, appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for coming. Brian is in here as well. What up, everyone? What's going on, Brian? How's it going, man? Good afternoon. Okay, so let's start off. I don't know if I want to first talk about my P40 Pro Plus or get into a story or two and then kind of switch in the middle here. Let's start off with a story. Let's do that, because yesterday I went straight into the P40 Pro Plus, and I'll get into that in a second. We'll talk about that after I talk about the Nord. So the Nord was something I wanted to talk about yesterday. I didn't get a lot of time because that unboxing took me almost an hour to go through, but we'll go through that. Again, I will give you my first impressions of this P40 Pro Plus after I get through this story, and then we'll circle back. So this article from Android Central is talking about the real reason the OnePlus Nord isn't launching in North America. If you're not aware, I think July 21st is when they are talking about bringing the Nord to India and Europe. I think that's the announcement, or it's going to get announced on the 21st. There's some live streaming event, if I remember correctly. So the OnePlus Nord exists to increase OnePlus's market share in India. The Nord is turning out to be one of the most exciting phones from the Chinese manufacturer in recent years, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's aimed at the mid-range segment. Starting with the OnePlus 7 Pro, OnePlus switched focus to the flagship category and set its sights on Samsung and Google. And while we got the OnePlus 7T last year for $600 and the OnePlus 8 a few months ago for $700, it's clear that OnePlus is increasingly looking to the flagship segment. That's what makes the OnePlus Nord so enticing. The phone is powered by a Snap 765G chipset. This is the chipset that is reportedly coming on the Pixel 5. It's in the LG Velvet. It's coming on the new Moto G 5G Plus and 5G, I think, as well. I have an article about that, but we'll talk about that in a bit also. And is the first device from OnePlus to offer dual 32 megapixel plus 8 megapixel cameras at the front. The phone is also confirmed to retail for under $500, with OnePlus positioning it as a Pixel 4a rival thanks to, quote, flagship level cameras. There's only one problem. The Nord will not be releasing in North America. At least from what I read, it's going to be in very limited supply. I think that was the term for it for the US. So I don't know, maybe they're not even really looking at the US as a potential market. The phone will instead be sold in Europe and India with a, there you go, quote, highly limited beta kicking off in the US that will let a few OnePlus fans get their hands on the Nord. There's a simple reason why the phone isn't launching in the US, and it has to do with margins. OnePlus is setting itself up as a mainstream player in the US, and that involves carrier partnerships. That kind of sucks. I hate the fact that I don't really care about carrier partnerships. Just make an unlocked phone and sell it to the consumer and then make it work on the networks. I am not on board with this whole carrier partnership kind of deal. OnePlus teamed up with T-Mobile starting with the 6T, and this year the company partnered with Verizon on the 8. OnePlus also started selling its phones on Amazon US with the OnePlus 8 series, and all of these partnerships require a lot of inventory and overhead. That's not how OnePlus usually operates. It has always relied on manufacturing phones in small batches. If you tried purchasing a OnePlus phone in the past, you might have seen intermittent availability issues on OnePlus's website, but that model doesn't work when dealing with a carrier like Verizon, which has a vast retail network, or an online retailer like Amazon that guarantees 2-day deliveries. To understand why the OnePlus Nord won't be debuting in the US, we'll have to first take a look at OnePlus's strategy with the OnePlus 8 series. The 8 and 8 Pro cost a lot more than their predecessors, and while some of it has to do with the fact that both phones have Qualcomm's Snap 865 chipset with a 5G modem, there's also the fact that OnePlus now has a lot of overhead in terms of maintaining adequate inventory for retail and online channels. That overhead leads to added costs, and those costs are added to the retail price of the phones. Again, for me, I'm just like, why not just make the phone that you're good at making, make it available for all the carriers, and sell the phone outright? I mean, maybe, obviously when you have them at carriers, there's probably a bigger push. You're able to show them at stores and demo them, and then people are more inclined to get them with whatever offers that these carriers give. But maybe because we're more on the tech side and like we know what to look for, they're not reaching out to a market that they could. But I don't know. At the same time, I feel like that's why channels like this exist, because then we can help consumers try to pick the right product. But who am I, right? I'm just a small fish, trying to like help people out. So obviously my reach is not as big as Verizon's or T-Mobile's or whoever. If you need further proof, just look at the pricing of the 8 and 8 Pro in India. The OnePlus 8 variant with 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage is available for 45,000 rupees, which comes out to the equivalent of $590, a full $110 less than what the OnePlus 8 costs in the US. Then there's the 8 Pro for $735. So these are definitely a lot cheaper. For context, that's a full $165 less than what the phone retails in the US. OnePlus is undoubtedly losing out on margins with each sale of the 8 and 8 Pro in India, but the Chinese company is willing to forego short-term profits because it gets to maintain its position as the leading manufacturer in the premium category. In a nutshell, that's the reason for the OnePlus Nord's existence. The phone will go on sale in India for under $400, allowing OnePlus to position the device as a premium offering, and in doing so, bolster its market share in the country. So, okay, now the only way to get the OnePlus Nord to a sub $400 retail price while offering a Snap 765G chipset and 90 hertz display is to trim the margins even more. This makes sense in a market like India, where OnePlus already has thin margins, but it would not work for other countries. We've already heard that the Nord will debut at $565 in Europe. So that's out of contention for me. I would most likely not buy this phone unless like the cameras were amazing or something amazing came on this phone, because $565, I can spend my money better elsewhere. So you don't want to cut the margins here in the US because you want to make deals with carriers or whatever it is, or make your profit. That's fine, but I can't recommend it. I would have a harder time recommending that phone at a $565 price point just because you want 5G. Like, that's not a selling point for me. And I don't think it really should be a selling point for anyone yet. Maybe later, maybe when the Nord 2 or the Nord 3 or whenever 5G becomes a thing, really. But right now, no, there's really no point. And that's considerably more than the sub $400 figure the company is aiming to hit in India. There's also the fact that OnePlus is facing a lot of issues with inventory right now. The 8 and 8 Pro is still not available widely 2 months after their launch. Combine that with the fact that OnePlus would not have been able to launch the Nord in the US for under $550, and it's easy to understand why the phone won't be debuting in North America. Fair enough. I mean, if you're going to be pricing it that much, then I mean, it's no sweat off my back. Like I don't care then, because I wouldn't be buying it. Not if it's going to be that expensive. For all the mind share that OnePlus gets, its devices account for a tiny fraction of global smartphone sales. India alone contributes to over 30% of OnePlus's overall sales, and the company only sold 1.8 million units in the country last year. Taking that into account, OnePlus's annual sales are just over 5.5 million units globally. So the fact that OnePlus devices attract such an outsized attention is down to clever marketing and the brand's focus on an enthusiast user base. The Nord is OnePlus's first real attempt at breaking through to a mainstream audience, and the company is essentially using India as a proving ground to see if its strategy pays off. For what it's worth, OnePlus has plans to launch a follow-up to the Nord later in the year. So if they're going to do a follow-up, then they're going to do the 6-month thing. Is that what they're doing with the Nord also? So we're going to have six, if there's going to be an 8T, an 8T Pro, and then a Nord 2 or whatever they want to call it. We're going to see 6 phones in 1 year. That's a lot of phones. Okay, and so yeah, they're saying the upcoming the successor to the Nord will then make its way to North America. The Nord is just the beginning. OnePlus plans to launch a series of affordable devices over the coming months and years. According to my sources within OnePlus, we'll see another model later in the year with more modest specs that will be released globally. So this initial one is just a launch for mostly India and Europe then. And then I feel like the only person who's going to get it in the US is MKBHD and other high-end YouTubers, tech YouTubers. Those are the only ones who are going to get the Nord and nobody else. So they can make a video on it and boast that hype or hype that hype up. And then regular people won't be able to get it. I don't know. So it says here, OnePlus will unveil the Nord on the 21st of July. And while North American customers will miss out on this particular device, that won't be the case later in the year. So if you were hoping for a Nord, then maybe it's best to really not get your hopes up for it. If it was going to cost more than $550 anyway in the US, were you really going to buy it? Were you going to spend the money for it? I feel like at that price point, there are a lot of other phones that you can get that has better raw performance on a phone, and something, 5G really shouldn't be the end all, the be all end all of your purchasing decision. When I bought this Huawei P40 Pro Plus, I didn't buy this phone because, and now it's making noise. I need to put this on do not disturb. Oh yeah, it has a okay. Anyway, I'll do that later. It's gonna go off again. What I was trying to say is, and now my thumbprint isn't working, and that's annoying. What I was trying to say is, God, sorry guys, I'm trying to mute my phone and I cannot find do not disturb. There we go. Okay, what I'm trying to say is I did not buy this Huawei P40 Pro Plus for 5G. I'm at home 90% of the day. The last thing I'm doing when I'm holding this phone and I'm taking out with me is I'm not looking for 5G, and I'm not saying, oh my God, the speed is like blazingly fast. My life is completely changed and this is the best phone in the world because of 5G. I don't think anybody's doing that right now, unless you're standing in front of one of those millimeter wave towers or whatever, and you're getting that 1 gigabit of speed down, which who's doing that right now? Who's in front getting those kind of speeds right now? And if you are you able to even get it anywhere outside of that cell tower? I don't know. Maybe mid-band 5G, right? Apparently those are supposed to be better. But I haven't had a chance to test it out, so I have no idea. Anyway, I want to get your guys' thoughts on this Nord. So for people who don't live in the US, sorry, all my phones are going off. For people who don't live in the US, is this something that you might buy if you're in India or in Europe? No, Europe said it's going to price it at $565. I think, yeah, the Nord will debut at 500 euros in Europe. And then it's only going to cost under $400 in India, because that's the market they're trying to aim for. I don't know. I don't really know the whole marketing thing behind it. I understand, right? There's a whole business that needs to be made. Phones need to be sold, but when you tie these phones to carriers, and then these carriers are the ones that are trying to give us incentives and then upping the prices on certain phones because they want to add millimeter wave to it. They want to add bloatware to it. They want to make it an exclusive where you can only use that particular phone under that particular carrier. No, thank you. I would rather spend my money elsewhere. I was going to say something completely crude, but I've been on a roll with YouTube monetizing my stream. So I will leave that. I will leave those thoughts to myself. Let me get into chat here. Let me say hi to everybody I didn't have a chance to say hi to yet. I see Paul in here as well. Paul, what's going on? That's so weird here in Holland. There's no such thing as carrier dependency. Well, lucky you, Paul. This is the US where, profit over people. There I go. I probably got demonetized. Paul, welcome to the stream. Brian says, unfortunately, regular people don't even research phones much. They just pop into the store and snatch up the latest iPhone or Samsung. They care about sales more than a more polished product. And Brian has a lot of great points, and a lot of that makes sense. And I understand that's how they do a lot of their stuff. Mauricio Salazar Rosas. Hi. Hey, Mauricio. How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. My camera seems really high. Let me adjust that. That looks better. Yeah, it looks better. Mauricio, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Okay, let me scroll down here. Did I miss someone? Oh, I didn't say hi to Big House. Big House Productions. How's it going? Also, Deepak Murthy. Hello, hello. Guys, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Nice to have you. Okay. Brian says, I like Unlocked because the carrier has no leverage on me. Yes, exactly. I leave if they treat me poorly. Javier is in here. Wow, I made it to the stream for 10 minutes. Javier, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Nice to have you. Deepak says, here in Europe, we have always bought unlocked phones. People hate being tied to a carrier. And that's how it should be. But I think in the US, they try to push the narrative that the carrier is who should take care of you. The carrier is the one that will, magically move that SIM card over from your old phone to your new one, because God knows it's so hard to switch a SIM card. Let me share a story with you. When I worked in corporate, when I worked in my IT position, I was talking to someone about phones, and he had an iPhone. He's had an iPhone forever, and he was tied to a carrier. Most people are. They're tied to carriers here in the US. And he was like, yeah, one day I want to try an Android phone. But the only thing I don't like about Android phones is you got to have a SIM card in it. And I was like, you need a SIM card in your iPhone. And this was years ago. This was before eSIMs, or at least before eSIMs were even a thing. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, there are no SIM cards in your iPhone. And I'm like, yeah, there are. Like, most people don't know. They don't realize that, like, people don't even want to. I remember there were people who didn't want me to remove their SIM card out of their phone because they were afraid it was going to mess up their service or their device. Although I will say that people who have Sprint phones, they lock that SIM card to that particular handset if you're using a phone that's bought from Sprint, I believe. Because I remember somebody, I can't remember who, had a Sprint phone, tried to switch it over, and removed. Oh no, it was a coworker of mine when I was in LA, and he bought my old iPhone XS, and he had a Sprint phone using the iPhone 8, right? I think he had an iPhone 8 Plus or an 8 or whatever. And then he tried putting his Sprint SIM card into my unlocked XS, and it wouldn't work. He had to go through a bunch of hoops to get it to work. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. This isn't how it should be. So yeah, sometimes they will make sure to tie you down so you don't switch over, which is ridiculous. It really is. Anyway, Paul says here, I went into admittedly shady a phone store for a 7 Pro case. They only had Apple and Samsung stuff. Javier says it's because they phased out the 7 Pro at T-Mobile. There you go. Deepak says, I really, really hope OnePlus targets the $350 to $400 price range. Well, according to this article from Android Central, it looks like they're only going to do it. They're only going to do it for India. So if you're elsewhere, like in Europe, or, well, the US, who apparently is not even going to get it, then you're kind of SOL. Deepak, if I remember correctly, you're in Italy. So if this article is as on point, I mean, it's Android Central. They're usually, they make sure their facts are good for at least from what I've read or remembered. Android Central is saying we've already heard that the Nord will debut at 500 euros, and it says here $565 dollars in Europe. So if they do debut it in Italy there, expect to pay 500 euros for that phone. Okay, so let me scroll down here. Let me make sure I don't miss anybody. Deepak says 5G in most parts of the world will be sub 6, and that's very true. Brian says here, yeah, millimeter wave is too impractical. Deepak also says in the US, Verizon and AT&T have a huge power in each and every aspect of mobile tech. Right. They're oligopolies, right? And so the less competition, the better. Sprint and T-Mobile have now merged. So now there's one less competitor. Although I heard Dish Network, which is like a big telecom, I think they do satellite TV. They're trying to make their own telecom now, so that's another player, but that still only ends up being like 4. And then you have a bunch of MVNOs who just use the cell towers of bigger, telecom industries, so they're pretty much under their helm. So anyway, Joshua Dunker here with the SMH emoji. Joshua, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Nice to have you. Team Verizon is in here. Hi everyone checking in. Team Verizon, welcome, man. Appreciate you stopping by. So yeah, that's the story with the OnePlus Nord. Sounds like it's going to be an expensive phone unless you're in India. And if you're in the US, you're probably not going to get it. And according to this article, you're best off to wait 6 months down the road when the Nord 2 or whatever successor for the Nord or whatever other model for the Nord comes out, because it looks like it's not going to be coming out to the US whatsoever. So anyway, that is it for the Nord. We can talk about this later. Again, really quick, guys, today I have to dip out right at 3 p.m. So I'm sorry, it's not going to be as much of a lengthy show as it usually is. I have to run out. I have to do work. And then I'm going to do camera comparisons. I'm going to go take pictures with my P40 Pro Plus. And I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about it right now. But real quick, I want to segue and just put this out there. If you guys are in here and you're listening, please don't forget to hit that like button. I know that sounds cheesy, but hitting that like button really helps me out. It supports me, and it might help in the algorithm. So please, if you get a chance, do hit that like button. I do stream weekdays, Mondays through Fridays at 2 p.m. Central on the dot. So if you want to get notified on that and you are not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Hit that bell notification. Oh my God, I sound like every YouTuber when I say that. Please, I am not like every YouTuber. I hope you guys realize that I am not. But hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification, because, genuine attitude, real happy attitude. I'm a YouTuber, and this is... That's my fake YouTuber voice. Oh, somebody gave me a like on Facebook. Wow. Anyone whoever did that on Facebook, can you comment? Because I've been multi-streaming lately, and I've been putting it on Facebook as well, but I don't think anyone's watching it on Facebook, but I just got a thumbs up on Facebook. But whoever did that, thank you for hitting that like button. I guess you heard me with my claims there. So thank you. And then, oh my God, it's Brian. Holy cow. Brian, what's going on, man? That's wow. Brian, I haven't heard from you in a minute. How's it going, man? Appreciate you stopping by. Thank you. Brian is an old friend. Not trying to show our ages here, Brian, but wow, nice. I haven't seen you in forever. Glad you could make it. I appreciate you listening. And then real quick, sorry, I didn't mean to go into nostalgia there. Real quick, if you guys are in the chat, and I'm talking about people in YouTube, if you see people with green in their name, you see a red Chicago star next to their name, that is because they are part of the Phone Jerome fam, and you can be one too. That's my marketing thing. I'm sorry. This is the last thing, and then I will move on. For as little as 99 cents a month, you can be a member as well. All you got to do is hit that join button. You'll get the green in your name. You'll get the red Chicago star next to your name, and you'll get to use all these custom emoji. You'll also get your name on every single intro and outro to all of my live streams. And then there are other perks as well. If you can't find that green or can't find that blue join button, you can go ahead and click on YouTube, or you can go to youtube.com/phone Jerome/join. Sorry, I'm out of sorts here because I haven't seen Brian in a while. So anyway, that's it. That's my little marketing spiel. You guys know how I do when you guys see that. So let's go ahead. Let's move on. Let's talk about the P40 Pro Plus. Okay, so if you guys haven't had a chance, I unboxed this phone yesterday, right? I unboxed this phone yesterday. I got it from Wanda Mobile from China, and it came in 3 days. Ridiculous shipping on it. So I can highly recommend them at this point. The purchase process was simple, and not only that, they also ended up giving me a travel adapter, right? So I could use the fast charging brick that comes with it. And this phone charges super fast. I'm going to have to do a battery test on this as well. But I got this phone yesterday. And for people who are not aware, this is a very expensive phone. I paid £1,040, which ended up being $1,300 US. And it has no Google services on it, so I can't do anything Google. No Gmail, no YouTube, no Google Photos, Google Keep, Sheets, Docs, anything Google related, I'm not able to use, which is unfortunate. But here's the thing. This phone is very high end. It's very high quality, and it's very nice. I've went ahead and I've started using it. I'm 24 hours into it at this point. It's probably at the same, no, it's probably higher build quality, I think, than my iPhone 11 Pro. And that's $1,000 phone. It's definitely higher quality than my Pixel 4, which is right here. It makes my Pixel 4 feel cheap. I don't mean to be such a, like, such a sourpuss about it, but it really, I mean, the Pixel 4 still feels premium, but like when you hold it, if I did a blind test and I gave people both of these phones and I asked them to tell me which one feels more premium, the P40 Pro Plus is the more premium phone. It is a nice phone. The chrome on the edges, and like, I was a little worried because there's a little bit of an edge to it, right? On the screen, like it kind of bends just so slightly, but not enough where I'm getting accidental touches, which is a really good thing. The one thing I was afraid of is I was going to get accidental touches using the P40 Pro Plus, and I didn't, which is great. But here's the thing. Having no having no Google services on it, that's not what I wanted. Having no Google services on it is a shame. I'm trying to get used to it. So I will share what I've been using. I really don't use Android messages. So that's another thing I won't be able to use because when I message people, I use Telegram, right? So I have Telegram down here. Telegram is what I use for all my messaging stuff. I know I can't convert everybody to use, Telegram. So that's fine. I can still get texts. I can still do SMS, but I can't use Hangouts. Not that I only use Hangouts because like I have friends who still use it, but for the most part, most people I know now don't use Hangouts. At that point, I'm just using SMS if they don't want to use Telegram. I can live with that. That's fine with me. So Telegram is what I'm using. Here's the thing. I know somebody in chat yesterday, and I see other people in here. I'll get back into chat as well. I was going to say Lucas, because I see Lucas is here as well. Lucas actually commented a ton on yesterday's stream. So Lucas, thank you for all of your recommendations. Actually, it was very helpful. A lot of people were chiming in with very similar thoughts to you, Lucas. So thank you for giving your thoughts on it. But Telegram for messaging, I didn't do anything different with the dialer. I'm just using the stock dialer. Somebody recommended using Aquamail or Bluemail for instead of Gmail instead. And I think it was Deepak who recommended that. I also think Lucas also recommended Outlook. Either way, I tried using Aquamail and Aquamail was fine. But anytime, if I had to add another account, I had to pay for the Pro Edition. Here's another thing. When I tried to sign up for Huawei ID on the P40 Pro Plus, and it asked me to pick my country, the US is not listed on here because, you know, Huawei and the US right now are not on the best terms. So the US is not listed here as a country. So I picked the country closest to me from the US, which was Canada. And so when I pick Canada and now I go through apps, everything is in Canadian money to purchase an app or whatever. And Aquamail costs, I forgot how much it said in Canadian money per year to pay. So instead of doing that, I said, you know what, let me not use Aquamail right now. I just ended up using the stock mail app, which is on the bottom center here. I just used the stock mail app and so far it's so good. So far so good. It, you know, it's still very reminiscent of Gmail. And it's just, you know, I use dark mode on it, which is nice. And that's it. As far as the browser, you know, I've always used Chrome and now I'm using Opera. And Opera's not bad either. Actually, what's nice about Opera is it gives you the option to pick what your default search engine is. So Google is the first one that shows up there, but you can use Bing or Yahoo. And I know other phones do that as well, but it's nice to see. Opera has been good. I actually use the stock browser for Huawei, and the stock browser for Huawei is not bad at all either. And then I think that's it. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing about this P40 Pro Plus. I can't use a ton of apps. It's not just Google apps, okay? It's not just Google apps. Because it can't use a lot of Google's framework, there are a lot of things I cannot use on it. I can't use Spotify. I use Spotify every day when I work out. You know, I go for like an hour walk or I'll go for a bike ride or I'll, you know, I mean, I can't go to the gym because, you know, everything's happening right now. So I can't do any of that, but it's like Spotify is something I use every day. I can't use that. I can't use Reddit. I can't use Amazon. I'm just trying to think of things off the top of my head that I haven't been able to use. I can use a lot of these things in browser mode. Even Instagram. There's no Instagram app for it right now. I know there are ways around this, guys. I know this. I'm just giving you my experience with Huawei, the app gallery, which is their Play Store, right? There are a lot of apps that are still not available. I don't know when they're going to become available. And so what ends up happening is and so here's another thing. Do you see this Orbia or whatever? Do you see that? Did you see that real quick? There are ads when I open that app gallery and it's only like 3 or 4 seconds, but I don't want ads in my app gallery. Imagine getting an app on the Play Store before the Play Store opens. It's real quick. It's not super, you know, it doesn't stay on there for 10 seconds, but that's something that doesn't sit well with me. The one thing that I don't want, I didn't pay $1,300 to get ads in the actual like core of their basic apps, right? And here's the thing, guys, like this is important that I say these things because I want people to understand that, yes, like the phone is great build quality, all this kind of stuff, but I have to point out the things that I am not. I wear my bias on my sleeve, but I'm always quick to point out any kind of faults or at least things that, you know, get under my skin. And if you are thinking about buying this phone, that's another thing that comes up there. So what ends up happening when I'm trying to get these other apps, right? Like there's no Google Maps. Oh, so instead of Google Maps, I use the Here app, which is actually a Maps app that was made by Nokia, I think some time ago. And it actually is pretty good from what I've seen so far. I haven't used it yet in like real navigate. So like I gotta run a couple errands in the city today, and then I'm shooting photos in the city today. So I'll be using that. But for a lot of apps like Instagram that's not available yet, it gets put in a queue. So like when the app arrives on Huawei's app gallery using their what is it, HMC, Huawei Mobile Core or whatever, their framework, then I guess we'll see if they will have it then. I'm just trying to find where that is, because I'm still, I haven't used a lot of this yet. I'm still trying to figure a lot of this out. Yeah, I don't even know where it is at the moment. So anyway, yeah, when it comes to a lot of apps, it's hard for me to use it because there's just a lot of things that are missing. So I find myself having to pull out my my iPhone 11 Pro, because now that's my secondary phone. My P40 Pro Plus is my go-to at the moment, and it will be for quite some time. I mean, I am still going to use this phone daily, and I am going to try to use everything that I can to switch over and move away from Google. Not permanently, but this is me really trying to see where my dependency on Google lies. The one thing that I need to find is I need to find a replacement for Google Keep. I'm thinking Evernote was the only other app that I've used as far as a notes app. So Google Keep is one that I need to switch over. I'm just trying to think of the other apps off the top of my head. So here's another thing. If you notice at the top here, there's suggestions, right? The one thing I don't like on my iPhone, on my Pixel 4, is getting app suggestions. So you see how there's a app gallery app here, and then the app gallery app is also here below. I don't like it when they double up like that. I would rather turn that off. And there's no way to turn the suggestions option off. Now, if you guys know if there's a way, please let me know, but it is not in the home screen settings. I've checked. I've Googled it. And I couldn't find anything. And you know what's funny too is so Huawei does things a little differently, and it's not bad at all. You know how typically you long press to get home settings? You can't do that on Huawei. Actually, you just pinch in to get that. So then you get wallpaper, widgets, transitions, and then home screen settings. So it's not better or worse, right? It's not a long press, but pinch is fairly easy as well. Here's another thing. To open the camera app, it's not, you would think it's just double pressing the lock button or power button. It's not that either. It's pressing the down volume button. That's what opens the cam. Well, now it didn't do it. That's what opens the camera. There we go. So yeah. Anyway, what am I? Oh, so the fingerprint reader is fine. I mean, I don't know, like it seems accurate. I did use Face Unlock for a minute, but I don't know. I kind of turned that off. I was just like, let me just use fingerprint for now. What am I trying? Oh, so to take a screenshot, what's really nice, because to take a screenshot, you actually have to use your knuckle for it. So like you would think just tapping it twice, right? But it won't do it. As soon as I use my knuckle, do you see that? That's crazy. It's actually not bad. At first, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. But if you use your knuckle twice, that does it. If you use two knuckles twice, of course, it's not going to work. I don't know if it's. Yeah, now it does when I turn it the other way. You see on the top here, it screen records, and it just might be my angle of how I'm doing it, but it's worked pretty well beforehand. And so that turns on screen recording, which is great. I just never thought about using the knuckles or using your knuckles as a thing, but it's not bad. So if I wanted to screenshot, I'm trying to put it on screen, and then it screenshots it. It's easy. It's pretty simple. And it's kind of creative. It's not bad. I'm just trying to think of other things. The one thing that's annoying me right now is the fact that I have two clocks. I have griped about this before. There is no way for me to I can't turn off the clock on the status bar up there. If you guys know, unless I have to ADB into it and do that, I'll do that. But that's a minor annoyance. For me, it's kind of a major annoyance. I just don't like stuff like that. I've used dark mode to kind of hide the front cameras, right? What else was I going to say? There were a couple other things that I was going to talk about. But really, the big thing is the app thing, not being able to find those apps. I will eventually get Instagram and all that stuff in there. I probably have to use, I don't know. I know there are ways to get them. I haven't looked into it yet because I'm like, let me just use the phone as is. Otherwise, everything's the same. I'm still using the stock launcher, so that's great. And you know, they have the option to swipe up to get all your apps. And again, I don't have a ton of apps. And I think that's it. I'm trying to think of like what else I've downloaded that I'm able to download. Oh, another thing. Do you guys remember yesterday I was talking about the screen protector on it? I took the screen protector off. I know you guys probably don't agree with me, and I understand, but I also don't use a case, and I know people don't agree with me on that either. The thing about the screen protector is it just has like a weird touch to it. It doesn't feel as smooth. It doesn't feel as good. And my big complaint on my Pixel 4, well, I have many complaints on my Pixel 4, but sorry, I'm getting notifications here. On my Pixel 4, the one thing that annoys me on here, you guys have heard all my annoyances: the battery, the lack of a fingerprint reader, the face unlock, not working with other third-party apps. The one thing I keep forgetting to point out on my Pixel 4 is the oleophobic coating is gone on it, and now it's smeared and it's smudged, and I can't get rid of it, and it looks disgusting. Like it absolutely looks disgusting, and that is why I didn't remove the screen protector on my P40 Pro Plus, because I didn't want that to happen. But then I thought about my iPhone 11 Pro. My iPhone 11 Pro, also no cases, no screen protector. I have used my 11 Pro way, 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 way more than my Pixel 4. And that oleophobic coating is still a lot better than what my Pixel 4 has on it, which is a shame. I paid $800 for my Pixel 4, and it's had so many like annoyances and issues. And I just, that kind of screams like inconsistent quality control. I'm not the only person who has complained about the oleophobic coating on the Pixel 4. If you look around, and you will see other people have griped with that issue. I barely use my Pixel 4, and I already have issues with the oleophobic coating. I removed it from my Huawei P40 Pro Plus. Listen, I want to use the phone the way I want to use it. I understand if you guys don't agree with it, that's fine. That's how I use it. And if that oleophobic coating goes, you guys will also be the first to know. Otherwise, I'm still loving the phone. I love the quality. I love the in-hand feel. Everything works smoothly. I haven't noticed any hiccups. I've been able to, and so what I'm doing with it, because I can't do everything on it, is I surf the web, and then I use Telegram, and then I've been playing around with a couple other apps and seeing what's out there. I know you guys are kind of going crazy in chat here. I'm going to go into that, but I just wanted to give you my 24-hour experience with the phone. Today, I'll be testing out the camera, and I'll start putting together a higher production video. So when I get a chance to do that, I will let you guys know. But so far, so good. Oh, I forgot. Also, it is not dual SIM. So I pulled the SIM out, and one side is for one SIM, and the other side is for that NM. I think that's what they're calling their expandable storage, NM SD card or whatever. I don't think it's dual SIM at all. And that's it. Otherwise, I'm excited to use the phone today for the camera and give you guys my thoughts and experiences on it. So, but so far so good on T-Mobile. I'm getting coverage fine. I'll let you know if I see 5G pop up on the top there. I don't know if I will or not, but it's not my top concern, because I'm not using my phone to like do a ton of things on it where I need a gigabit down or what. I mean, yes, the speed is always welcome, but it is not my main concern at this point. Okay, let me get into chat here. Let me scroll back up. So let me see. Okay, so Brian saying, yo, Jerome, been watching you, man. I saw you unbox it yesterday. Well, Brian, thank you, man. I appreciate you spending some time in here. Mauricio says, did you like the P40 Pro Plus in these first hours? It's incredible to have an optical 10 times in the palm of your hand. Mobile technology advances very fast. Mauricio, I haven't even messed with the camera yet. So so far I've enjoyed the phone just in terms of like admiring so I know it's going to sound weird, but kind of admiring the beauty of the phone, the craftsmanship of the phone, the build quality of the phone. These are some things that I've appreciated using on it. The one thing that has been bothering me a bit is the stereo quality. The audio is loud, right? But it only has one bottom firing speaker, and sometimes my hand goes over it and then I notice that the audio goes off or it gets muffled, and I'm just like, oh man, only if it had that extra speaker on there. Six is asking, how are the gestures? The gestures are good. Like nothing seems out of place or out of ordinary, or out of the ordinary. I don't know if you're asking about the gestures in terms of like switching through apps and hitting the going back or whatever, but everything seems fluid, smooth. No issues with it so far. It seems pretty good, like pretty solid there. Like no big like warning flags or alerts saying like this doesn't seem right. Otherwise it seems pretty good. Okay, let me scroll back down here. Lucas says that bottom display curves make swipe up from bottom gesture so convenient. Every phone with gesture navigation should have it. There you go. You know what? I need to maybe pay more attention to that. But yeah, again, like in terms of just navigation and everything, gesturing, like it's good. It's good. No complaints. No complaints. Brian saying, I've been streaming on Facebook. If you want some tips to get views, message me on the side. Been following you on YouTube and Facebook for a bit. Brian, thank you, man. I'll hit you up. I mean, we should just catch up one day. It's been nice. It's nice to see you, man. It's nice to see you. Joshua is saying Telegram. Yeah, there you go. Telegram. That's it. Brian says, I'm surprised the UI isn't making you want to throw the phone through the wall. Here's the thing, Brian. What Brian means is with my P40 Pro Plus, I am such a stock Android guy and I want stock Android everything. And I'm trying to get my mentality, I'm trying to get my mind out of that, Brian. I'm trying to appreciate the phone for what it is and using it for what it is. And I think having that mindset will kind of ease any kind of pain I might be having of like missing a stock Android experience. But it's pretty simple so far. Here's the thing is like I tried to use that here maps. Well, I mean, not so like if you notice all of these, it's hard to see, but like all of these apps here have like the same icon design. But when you look at the here app, which is right there, the darker one, you notice that design scheme is not the same. And usually I put maps on my dock at the bottom. I always put it at the bottom right, and I couldn't do it because it's not shaped properly. I probably need to get an icon pack or do whatever. But yeah, I'm trying to like move away from like being so obsessed about complete stock Android and just appreciate what I have and use it and see how well it works from there. Okay, so let me see here. Yeah, Mauricio saying installing Google services is easy. There are quite a few tutorials of videos on YouTube, and I've seen that. And I appreciate you saying that. And I definitely will get into that in the future. It's just right now, I just want to try to use the phone as is and like figure out how far I can go with it. Okay, so Six is saying, where's Gary when you need him? Paul's saying, Jerome, I want to check your Facebook stream, added you on Facebook, but can't seem to find the stream. Paul, just look for Jerome Ortega, or no, go to facebook.com/phone Jerome. So you could go there. I've had that page for a long time. I just decided to multi-stream on it because I pay for the services anyway. So I figured I might as well do that. I thought about maybe adding this stream and doing it on Twitch as well, but I don't know. We'll see. It's not something that like is my top priority at the moment. Sean's asking, did you use Brave? Sean, I didn't. I remembered Brave. Was it you who mentioned Brave? But like, I'll take a look at that. I'll take a look at that as well. I don't know if I read an article about Brave and privacy, but then again, I don't know how well the privacy is on Huawei's browser either, but I'll take a look at Brave. I didn't forget. I remembered when I was looking, I'm like, okay, someone said Opera, someone said Brave, someone said Blue Mail, someone said Aqua Mail, and I just picked one of the two. It wasn't like I was trying to pick one over the other. I kind of looked and I saw like what had the most downloads, I think, or maybe even Brave wasn't available. I don't know. I'll have to double check. Lucas says, no problem, Jerome. My first 2 weeks with the P40 Pro was a bit of a fight to get everything working. Now, after 3 months, it doesn't feel much different from any other Android phone to me. Thank you, Lucas. Thank you for sharing your support too, man. I appreciate you commenting all of the things that you've learned from it. So I'm looking forward to really, getting my hands dirty with it and testing it out. Six says, I see Jerome doing a drop test live to get rid of his Huawei frustrations. I didn't pay $1,300 to do a live drop test. No. Deepak says, oh, there you go. Jerome, no banking apps, right? Nope. So no Chase, no Capital One. Those are the two banking apps I use. I can't use either of those at all. Again, there are a lot of apps I cannot use. TikTok is one that they have, but that's also because it's a Chinese app. But TikTok was one of the top ones that showed there. But yeah, there are no banking apps that I've seen at all. Lucas says Opera has good. What is that? Is that an ad filter, right? And supports black theme for web pages properly. So your web pages are also black. It can make them look black even better than Chrome. Yeah. And that's what I've been using for right now. I use dark mode for Opera and so far so good. Actually, Opera's not bad. When I started using the browser, I was just like, it just seemed like what I use on Chrome, like nothing really drastic or different. And it makes for a good experience. Brian says they would convert his bank account to Canadian currency now. Yeah. So, Paul says, can't you use Spotify web? I totally forgot about using Spotify for web use. I will look into that. I didn't even think about that, Paul. I'll have to take a look. Because if I can do that instead of carrying my iPhone when I work out, then maybe I'll do that instead. I'll take a look. But Paul, thank you for saying that. Yeah, Team Verizon saying, how about Google Maps though? No Google Maps. I think unless you used it browser based, otherwise, you'd have to use the background or the backdoor services or whatever. Let's see. Lucas is saying, I have my banking apps thanks to the phone clone app from Huawei. It transfers many apps from your old phone, and then you update them using Aurora Store, which is a front end for Google Play Store. Lucas knows his way around. I'll have to touch base with you for a lot of that stuff. I use Microsoft OneNote for notes instead of Google Keep. Thank you. I forgot about OneNote. Totally forgot about OneNote. I'll have to take a look at that as well. One thing I noticed is in Huawei's web browser, they use all Microsoft stuff. So it's the Bing search engine. And then I saw a lot of Microsoft apps being promoted. So, you could tell like they can't use Google. So they're trying to use what they can and what they have. Okay. Brian says trying to get away from Google with the new phone uses Google to search how to use the phone. That's very true, though. I have been using Google to figure out how to get some of my answers on it. Yeah. So Brian, ads are only in the app gallery. They're not normal ads. They only promote apps in the app gallery. You won't see ads for a vacuum cleaner or so. You can take a screenshot using your hand without touching your screen. Yeah, I saw the air gesture stuff. I just didn't have a chance to try that out yet. Thanks to that 3D camera and that huge notch. Paul's asking, how are the haptics? So the haptics are very subtle. I will say that the haptics. So I don't think the haptics are going to be anything like the iPhone 11 Pro, but when I use the keyboard, when I use like the back gestures or whatever, they're very slight. They're subtle, but they feel subtle enough where you feel the vibration, but not as much as an iPhone 11 Pro, but not to the point of like, how the old OnePluses are, how the vibration was so much that it just seemed like fake. So it wasn't that either. It was like a very subtle one where they didn't want to, I think, amp it up where it seemed aggressive or fake. I still don't think it's on the same quality level as an iPhone 11 Pro or just an iPhone in general, but I haven't had a lot of time to really test out those haptics. So if I can get a better idea of that, I'll let you know. But good question, Paul. Good question. Lucas says, I also don't use the fingerprint at all thanks to the secure 3D face unlock. Only iPhone offers that aside Huawei phones. It's quite fast, so fingerprint unlock is almost redundant. You know what, Lucas? That was the question I had, is how secure is the face unlock? Is it as secure as an iPhone? Is it as secure as the Pixel 4? I think that was the reason I didn't use it, because I didn't know how good it was. But if it's supposed to be as secure, then maybe I'll switch over and I won't use I would like to at least have both, because when I have a mask on, then that makes more sense for me. Okay. Let me see here. Brian says, with all the alcohol wiping due to COVID, the coatings won't last too long on any phone. I mean, that's a good point, but I don't know. My iPhone 11 Pro is still doing what it's doing. Deepak saying, what about battery life? I feel like I haven't had the phone enough to really give you a good indication of how good the battery is. I mean, I'm able to use it the whole day, but that's really all I can share on it for now. When I get more time, I will share that. So I'm I don't want to give you guys any impressions on the battery life when I really haven't used it as much yet. Okay. God, I you know what? And I'm so sorry, guys. I'm not even going to be able to go through the rest of these stories here. I know I had something on the I know I had something on the Moto G 5G. Actually, I'm just going to go through that real quick. I know that I told you guys that I'm not going to be able to do the whole hour here today because I have to do another work thing right after. But I want to go through this, and I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to get through all the chat. It's the first day I had to actually run and do stuff. So let's go over this Moto G 5G story, and then I'm going to run. But tomorrow we'll make up. Man, I got another long day tomorrow. I got a lot of stuff. This is why I need to reprioritize my work. Okay, let's do this real quick. This article from Droid Life is talking about, whoa, the Moto G 5G Plus looks awesome. It's been a few years, and actually that looks pretty nice from this picture. It's been a few years since I've tested a Moto G phone, the line that is likely Motorola's best-selling across the globe. I've avoided them mostly because they didn't check enough boxes, and that's kind of how I felt about this phone, even for the price they were being delivered at. With the new Moto G 5G Plus, Motorola just nailed the budget phone, but there's still one big problem. Before we dive into the sad news, let's talk about what the Moto G 5G Plus is and why you should take a serious look at it. So a 6.7-inch FHD Plus display. So it's saying here it sports a spec sheet of a phone that should cost $500 to $600, yet it won't come close to that number. 90 hertz refresh rate, HDR10 support, Snapdragon 765 processor, 5G modem, 64 or 128 gigs of storage, and an SD card for added internal or added expandable memory, expandable storage support, up to 1 terabyte, 4 gigs or 6 gigs of RAM, 5,000 milliamp hour battery. That's a huge battery, 20 watts fast charging, a side fingerprint reader, 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, Bluetooth 5.1, NFC, dual selfie cameras, and a rear quad camera setup. Talks about all these cameras here, shoots in night vision, and then it comes with Android 10 out of the box. And then it uses a clean Android experience, it says here. So it says, how much does it cost? Well, it runs the same processor as the recently released Samsung Galaxy A71 5G, a phone that starts at $600. If you want to hear an atrocity, they are also making the 5G UW from Verizon, an A71 that's selling for $650. So you can have the luxury of paying $650 for a mid-range phone from Verizon that's carrier locked. Then you can get millimeter wave as long as you stand right in front of their towers and you're licking the metal pole. Then you can get faster speeds. I'm kidding, but yes, $650. I'm not kidding about that. The Velvet also runs that processor and is expected around that price or higher should it make its way to the US. The Moto G 5G Plus will start at just 349, is that euros? For the 4 gig, 64 gig internal option, and jump to $399 for the 6 gig, 128 gig model. So this is a much cheaper price point. This is the price point that I feel like is fair. This is the price point that I have been shooting for. This is going to have a Snapdragon 765 at the $400 price point. We just talked about the Nord, guys. We talked about how that Nord is probably going to be $550 anywhere but India, or India will be $400. Everywhere else will be over $500, $550. This Moto G 5G Plus, this looks like it's checking off a lot of boxes for a much cheaper price. Unfortunately, Motorola says it has no plans to bring this phone into the US. I didn't know this. Guys, I didn't have a chance to read through this article, so I don't know if this is only a phone that's only going to be in India. Is it only going to be in Europe? Is it going to just be international? When I say international, I just mean not in the US. That's unfortunate. I had no idea. I was getting excited because I was like, here we go. Another cheap price, another good, fair price that I feel like I could recommend, but it's not going to be here in the US. The Moto G 5G Plus will launch all over the world, just not here. Well, great. They figure the Z4 with 5G Moto Mod big lull, and soon to launch Motorola Edge are enough for now. No, they're not. At some point in the fall, they will launch a sub $500 5G phone. Ugh. You'd buy this in the US, wouldn't you? I think that's a fair price that I would have recommended to people. That's unfortunate. So yeah, that's it. This was a quick hour, guys. I'm so sorry that we couldn't run a little longer today. It's just been I have a lot to do today. Again, I am reprioritizing my stuff. I need to make sure that my channel comes first before anything else. This channel, my fasting channel. I see Brian with the $1 super chat here. Brian, thank you for the support, man. Thank you for the continued support as always. Thank you for being a moderator in here. I don't know. Also, by the way, I know this channel is kind of like, or the stream kind of has, I've been seeing higher numbers in here as well. If there's any of you guys that might be interested in being a mod, please let me know. I'll look into it. Just, you know, I'm just one more maybe at this point, just to make sure that things are on the up and up and people aren't like, you know, putting out where I live or I don't know. I mean, I think everyone in here is pretty civil, so I really don't need that, but just in case, especially I don't expect Brian to be here every day. I mean, he usually is, but just FYI. Okay, let me just go through chat real quick. Cause I really need to go. So, let's see here. Big House says, yeah, that's crazy. $1,300 and no stereo speakers. I know. Deepak says, really, no stereo speakers is not a good choice for a top dollar phone. I mean, I got to call it out, right? So let's be fair and let's point that out. Team Verizon says, Jerome, it reminds me of the time when I used a Nokia X from 2014 with Nokia's weird modified Android thingy. No Google stuff, so substitute apps were essential. Right. Exactly. I love tech a lot. Hey, welcome to the stream. I have an iPhone 11 Pro Max, or the cameras or on the Huawei phone than iPhone. So yeah, I hear it is. He's saying I hear Huawei is a killer phone that makes better than Apple as far as the camera. That's what I've heard as well. But you're gonna get the full experience because I'm gonna make camera comparisons, and you'll get the full. You'll get my full video and thoughts on all of the camera stuff because I am going to do a very thorough job on that. Just stay tuned for that. Okay, so let me make sure I'm just going through, making sure everybody's in here. I think I said hi to everyone. So, okay, we're going to end it here, guys. Let me, I got to get this comment off of here before I put the outro out. Guys, just again, an FYI, I stream Mondays through Fridays every day at 2 p.m. Central. I will be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central. I shouldn't have anything afterwards. I do have work to do after, but not until like an hour or two after. So we'll have a longer show tomorrow. I'm already running over the hour anyway today. So come back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central. I want to thank everybody for stopping by today. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. For all of my YouTube members, thank you for being a continued member. For people who have super chatted, not just today, but in the past, for any support, guys, thank you so much. Come back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central. We'll do it all over again. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Here comes the outro. Here's me waving bye as I transition. Bye.